Welcome to the Rich and Rave podcast together with
Thaddeus Meal.
And Konstantin, also Pietro.
And you will hear it. It's the first episode on English, and we have a special guest from Canada. So, Mikail from BDC, this is one of the biggest venture capitalist businesses in Canada and one of the active. So, welcome.
Thank you very much, guys. Happy to be here.
Yeah, so introduce us BDC. Short introduction from BDC, 1 minute pitch. What is it? And then we will come to your personality.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So BDC Capital is a crown corporation. It is the largest and the most active venture capital firm in the whole of Canada. We have over 20 different funds, and we've invested in over 320 companies. And we also do funds of funds, which means we invest in other VC firms as well.
All right, very nice. So what will be the one thing for our young listeners that you could give to them as knowledge?
I think the one thing I will give them is as an entrepreneur, if you're building a solution for a client, you should be obsessed about the problem and not the solution you're building. And the reason for this is basically if you focus more on the problem and your client, you will be able to get the right solution for them. And even when the solution changes, you are not fixated on the solution, but you are more fixated on the problem.
So is there some reason because you say this? Because, I don't know, earlier things that you lived on or stuff like that? Or is like you learned it from a other person? So why you came to this conclusion?
So the reason I came to this conclusion is because I am also a two-time co-founder. I co-founded a last mile delivery company that failed spectacularly. And part of the main reason it failed was because we were more fixated on the solution rather than focusing on the client problems. And, we basically loved our product a lot. And even when the customers were telling us to do something else, we didn't necessarily listen to them. We felt, hey, nobody knew about Uber, for example, before Uber came and disrupted the market. Nobody knew about Netflix, and they came and disrupted the market with a different product. So we also felt, well, maybe the customers don't know what they want. We know better than them. So we kept on building our product. But at the end of the day, they didn't like our product, and we failed. So that's just it.
So to get a little bit earlier and deeper, so why you chose this path of, okay, I start something by my own, I go to the VC or go to the investing case. So what is important for us to understand more of the history and why you go there?
Okay, so I have a roughly 10, 12 years experience of sales, business development, and consulting. And I've worked globally. So one of the reasons I pivoted into venture capital is because, like I said, I was in sales, and in sales, you are basically providing solutions to customers' problems. When I wanted to leave sales, I thought about going into entrepreneurship, building a company, building a product of my own. I tried that. I was good at it, but of course, one of my startups failed. The other one is still doing well today. But then I realized that I loved working with entrepreneurs. I also enjoyed helping people out. And I wanted to be able to do this on a large scale. So I felt maybe if I ended up joining either a startup studio or a venture capital firm where I have access to a lot of entrepreneurs, where I can help them with sales, business development, as well as raising capital. Because one of the things I realize is that a lot of the young founders or entrepreneurs out there, they might be technical, but they don't have the sales and the business skills. Now, I already have over 10 years of that. I can always help with that. But if I was to move into VC, I can help them. I can help our portfolio companies, with other sales, marketing, growth, and also help them raise future capital as well. So these are some of the reasons that I decided to move into venture capital.
All right. How was it with the one startup that failed? How was the process of it, and what have been gone wrong?
So the startup that failed was a last mile delivery company. And our idea was basically this. We wanted to create some sort of Uber for delivery where anybody can pick up a delivery on their way to wherever it is they are going. So, for example, say I am driving from Berlin to, I don't know, Frankfurt, for example. Now, I can just go on the app and just look for who has any delivery that they want to make from Berlin to Frankfurt. Just branch around, pick up those deliveries because I am going to Frankfurt anyway. So it's not me going out of my way. So why not just make a couple of, a couple of euros while I'm traveling down. So you can do that either within a city or when you're traveling outside of a city. So that was the initial concept that we had, and we wanted to also use it to help people from low to medium income bracket who don't necessarily have a lot of money, but maybe they have a job or they have a car, they have a bicycle, so they can make money on the side. We wanted to do this, and our initial target was to start up in West Africa. But part of the challenge that we ran into immediately was that I am based in Canada. My other co-founder, who is the CTO, was based in the US, and then the third co-founder was based in the UK. So the three of us founders were not even based in the target market that we're building for. So that in itself was a big problem to begin with. And then we also had some kind of challenges in terms of co-founder dynamics. Then we had challenges raising funding as well to be able to build the product and scale. So yeah, those are some of the challenges that we faced with my first venture.
So was it your idea or from one of the co-founders?
Oh no, so it was the CTO's idea, the guy who was based in the US. So he doubled as the CTO and the CEO. It was his idea because he used to work in the logistics space, and then he brought us on together to build it.
So when you look right now back and you have to make something different to maybe get better and don't, I don't know,
Make the same
make
mistakes.
the same mistakes, yes.
What would it be?
What will it be? Okay, great. Um, that's a that's a great question. So looking back, if I wanted to do something different in the future and avoid the past mistakes, I think it would start with um, a very, very deep understanding of what the problem is. Because in the previous challenge that we had, I didn't necessarily have the best understanding of what the problem was because, like I said, the idea was that of my co-founder. But going forward, it will be good for the co-founders to be aligned on what the problem is, the problem they are trying to solve. Because along the way, we started having issues thinking about, are we building for individual people or are we building for companies to be making deliveries with our product? So as long as you are all aligned on what the problem is, then it makes it easier for you to know where you're going to. And I think also the other thing I will absolutely make sure I do next time is make sure I'm building for the market that I live in, because we thought it was going to be possible building in a different market while all of us are elsewhere, but it was challenging because when you build, sometimes you want to be able to go out there and physically talk to customers. We were making Zoom calls, team calls with customers, and those customers were not necessarily the people we should be talking to. We should have been in the market talking to people. So I think this will be some of the core things I will fix, because once you fix these basics, then I think the other challenges that we faced will be easy to,
So you said earlier that the underlying thing of a business is like you have to find a problem that you want to solve. So how I find a very important problem or a problem that is really, a big problem, because I have sometimes problems that maybe only one or two other people have. So how can I fix it and make right, and that I have the right and big problem that I will solve?
Oh no, that is a very, very good question. So normally when you're learning about entrepreneurships in schools or colleges, they tell you to start with a problem that you personally have. While that might be good, and sometimes some of the biggest startups that we've seen in the world that have been successful came about because the founder had that problem. So yes, that is one way. So for example, right now I am beginning to go bald. I don't know if you see it. I'm losing my hair already. So
Yes.
yeah, so if that is the problem I am facing right now, I might start thinking about, hey, can I put together some kind of cream or lotion that I can use to grow my hair back? Now, yes, that is a genuine problem. Next thing to do is to start looking at my friends, the society I live in, and start doing some research. Are there a lot of people that are actually facing that same problem that I have? If there are a lot of people, I can search the term, that's the total addressable market, the global trend. If I see that it's a big market, then I can go ahead and start working on that. Now, the other way to get problems is just look around your society. What are the challenges people are facing? So maybe, for example, a lot of young parents don't have they don't have the time to take their kids to school, for example, and there's a lot of people complaining on your community Facebook channel and all that. You might start thinking about, oh, how do I start maybe an Uber bus service for parents, for young parents or something like that. All of a sudden you are starting to have an idea. So yes, looking at the society where you live, the community can give you inspirations as well. And then also listening to news, social media, and seeing what are the general problems or issues that people are complaining about. And then you start thinking about, oh, okay, if I do my research, can I get a big enough market to tackle this?
So can you give some examples how I can really prove that their problem is important in the real world?
Okay, that's a good question. So, and then the easiest thing will just be, to carry out, as simple as it is, maybe a survey. So that is I think that's the cheapest and the easiest you could do. And what I mean by a survey is, for example, the example of the young parents not having time to take their kids to school because they want to work, or not having time to take their kids to the playground or something. What you could do is just walk around your street or go to your community Facebook page and just put in a survey. You can ask maybe 2 or 3 questions, like, for example, are you a parent, are you a young parent having challenges taking your kids to school? Then all of a sudden people can always say yes, yes, yes. You get to see 20 people answered, 18 people said yes. Then okay, that gives you an idea. Then the next thing could be something like, will you like someone to come up with a solution to help you with this challenge? Again, if 18 people out of 20 say yes, then that gives you an idea that, okay, maybe people will actually want a solution for this. So you could just carry out a survey. It could also be an interview. Maybe you could just walk on the street, maybe in the morning when parents are going to school with their kids. You could just strike a conversation with them, things like, hey, how easy is it for you to take your kids to school? Do you think you would like a service where someone provides you with services, picks your kids up, and then you can monitor it on an app to see where they are? You can just give them ideas, and then based on the feedback, that starts to give you, some sort of idea that, okay, this might be a good opportunity. Then of course you still have to do follow-on conversations and interviews and prototypes, MVPs, to be able to flush out the ideas.
How do I get real passion for my problem?
Oh wow, how do you get real passion for your problem? Well, I think the first way to have real passion for your problem is if you are actually facing the problem yourself. Then yes, you will be very passionate to fix that problem. So yeah, so I think one of the best ways to have real passion for the problem you're solving is to be passionate and empathetic towards your customers. So again, the example I gave about young parents, needing a solution for their kids or something like that. One way to be passionate about that is for you to see yourself as a future young parent. In the next few years, you will soon have your own kids or something like that, and you will also be a young parent just like these people. So once you see us, once you can empathize with them, put yourself in their position, then you begin to have that passion that, okay, look, you know what? I think it's a good idea for me to solve this problem. So again, like I said, if you can empathize with the customers, then that gives you the passion to be able to go after the problem.
So you see also a lot of other businesses of things that are around of the entrepreneur journey. So what are other main points that you see on these companies that really succeed, that are got to the entrepreneurial, to the unicorn status?
Okay. So what are the things that I see in entrepreneurs that succeed? So I think number one will be passion for the problem they're solving. Again, not the solution, but the problem. They are passionate about the problem, and then they are very, very obsessed about their customers. So some of these founders are the kind of people that if they build something, just even if it's a single line of code or a single feature, they go back to the customer and say, hey, take a look at this. Do you like it? And if the customer says yes, I like it, or no, I don't, then they go back to tweak it. So they're passionate about the problem, they're obsessed about the customer, and then also they understand that what they're building is not just about the money, because there are a lot of founders out there that just feel like, you know what, let me just build anything, I will get VC money. It's not about the VC money. It is about you building something that actually helps people. And also, you don't want to boil the ocean. And what I mean by that is you don't want to say, oh, you know what, I'm building for the whole world. No. Get a small sample size of customers, your early adopters, and really take care of them. Build the product so that they absolutely love the product. Once they love the product, they will end up being what we call your evangelist. So if you build a product for me and I really like it, I will go tell my friends. My friends will tell their friends, and then word of mouth will start bringing you traction, and before you know it, you are building something big. So once you are obsessed about building the right solution for your customers and you start to get traction, VCs will come looking for you. You don't even have to go looking for them.
Okay, so what will be the next step if I want to get my startup into rolling? So I now am passionate about the
problem.
Yeah. And I have the drive for it. Maybe I made some surveys, but what is the now?
So when I also look for VCs, so because you said so, okay, you have to focus on the product, but I don't know, sometimes you need money. So to build the product better and make all the stuff. So what is the right, I don't know, so that you focus not the whole time only on the product, or you said like, yeah, you should focus only on the product and the VC will come from alone. So I don't know.
So, okay, so the thing is this, during COVID period, when a lot of people were locked in the house, we were not traveling, people were not going out, nobody was buying shares anymore. Instead, a lot of people were willing to take a lot of risk and putting their money in venture capital because the interest rates they could get from funds and bonds were already low. So during the COVID period, there was a lot of money in the VC ecosystem. So even if you have an idea, only an idea, you could potentially get VC to give you money. But right now, it's a totally different case. There is no money out there. VCs will not give you money based on an idea. So what you need to do is, once you've been able to identify a problem you want to tackle, you've done your survey, you've done your interviews, you've done, some of the little research that you could do to find out that this is a real problem that people have, you might have to start your company by bootstrapping earlier on. Now, when I say you might have to use bootstrapping, which means basically using part of your money to build your first product. Sometimes, depending on the product you are building, you could actually use no-code tools to build the product. So no-code will be, go online, find some of this website that help you build an MVP or prototype, and it will be for free. Now you can use this MVP or prototype to go meet your customers and let them use it. If they use it and they like the product using the no-code and you didn't spend any money, then now you have some form of traction that you can actually go out and reach out to VCs and early stage VCs. So VCs that invest in pre-seed companies or seed stage companies, and you can show them the traction you already have with the MVP that you built, telling them, hey, look, I used no code to build this MVP. Customers like it. I already have traction. You show them how many people have signed up or are willing to use. Some VCs will give you money for that. Sometimes, like I said, you might need to use your own savings to build the initial product, and the initial product doesn't have to be a big product with 20 features. It could just be one product with 2 or 3 main features, and then you could also do family and friends to give you some money for you to build the first product. And once you have traction again, then you can start looking for things like grants, for example. So I don't know in Germany. I think in Germany you have different kind of grants where either institutions or government bodies will give you money to build something at the initial stage. So yeah, so you can go for that initially to be able to get you going. And once you get some more traction and you have maybe some revenue, because VCs like to see some of those things, then you can approach a VC and hopefully be able to get money from them. But what I typically will advise entrepreneurs and founders is be more focused on generating revenue than getting VC money, because if you can generate enough revenue from your customers, then you might not even need VC money, and then you end up owning 100% of the company. So the VC money should be like your last resort, because again, not everybody that goes to a VC gets funded. You need to understand that as well. So if you are more focused on your revenue, even if VC money doesn't come and revenue keeps coming, then you should be fine.
How do I get the revenue of my own?
Well, you get revenue on your own you get revenue by building something that solves customers' problems, really. So if I am a potential customer and I have a really, really bad challenge, for example, if you build something for me that I know I can use, then I will be your customer. That's your revenue right there. So again, it goes down to being passionate about the problem and being obsessed about the customers. Because if you love the problem and you build the right solution for the customers, then the customers will pay you. And that's your revenue, and that's what you want.
So when you would start right now a company, in which field would it be, or do you have something in your mind to maybe to try it out?
That is actually that's a very good question. So yeah, if I was to start a company right now, I think again I will do some of the things I mentioned. Basically, look at what are the problems I have or the problems I see in the community and build towards that. But some of the challenges that I've been seeing is in the space of health tech, and part of the reason is because a lot of people are getting sick, but at the same time, right now, a lot of people are getting old. So we call that age, they call it age tech. So for old people. So I give you an example in Canada, up until I think last year or this year, the people retiring, we had more people retiring than young people moving into the workforce. So what that means is that we have a lot of old people. In Japan, for example, I believe they said in Japan, the population of the old people in Japan is more than the population of the young people. So globally, a lot of people are getting old, and every one of us is going to get old one way or the other one day, right? So if I wanted to build a product right now, I might be thinking about looking at what are the challenges that old people are facing today. Are they having mobility issue? They can't walk. Maybe they can't even clean their house, or and all those kind of things. So it could be a matter of, do I come up with a tech solution that enables old people who live alone, if they need help cleaning the house or taking them for doctor appointment or taking them grocery shopping, can they just go on their mobile phone and just type groceries, and then all the youths around, let's say, all the youths around 2 kilometers of that particular old person will get notification saying, hey, there is this old person, 70-year-old, they need cleaning of their surroundings, they are willing to pay you 50 euros, for example. And so all of a sudden, maybe I need 50 euros. I'll just accept, and it will be basically like Uber for, I don't know, cleaning services or for old people or something like that. So I think if I was to build something, that is something that I might want to build. And part of the reason, again, that I'm passionate about it is that I am originally from Nigeria. I'm based in Canada right now, but my parents are still in Nigeria. My dad is 78 years old and my mom is 71. So they are both very old and they cannot do a lot of things. So from here, sometimes I'm having to call people to say, hey, go and give my dad this, help my dad with that. So if I had that.
So you have the problem by yourself.
Exactly.
You will say.
So yeah, exactly. So I already have the problem myself, although it's far away in Nigeria, but I see a lot of old people here as well. So I can start building here and expand globally.
So it is also a huge step from Nigeria to Canada. So how was your childhood? How you came to Canada and got to, I would say, such a good position and worked up. What?
Yeah.
How you got there?
Okay, so
How was your childhood? I don't know. Because I think it is very different to a German childhood.
no, absolutely. No, my childhood was fun. It was a lot of fun. So again, originally Nigeria, and I grew up in Nigeria. I lived in Nigeria until I was what, maybe 17 years old before I left. But yeah, growing up in Nigeria was fun. Nigeria has its challenges and all of that, but at the same time, it has a lot of benefit. You get to learn about real life problem. You get to be passionate about people because you are living in the midst of those who have money, the mid income people as well as poor people as well. So you get to live and see what everybody is facing. And of course, I had a lot of friends there. Nigeria is a country of about 220 million people. So there are a lot of people there. It's crazy. You have fun. You have a lot of friends. But I left Nigeria when I was what, 17, to go to the Middle East in Kuwait to go do my bachelor's degree. So I did my bachelor's degree in engineering physics in Kuwait. After that, I got a job in oil and gas. I started working globally. So I worked in Australia, Singapore, UK, South Africa, US, Wales, Scotland as well, and a couple of other places in oil and gas. And then after my work with oil and gas, I then decided to relocate to Canada. Now, coming to Canada, again, Canada is a very different place. Of course, it's very cold, very, very cold compared to any other place that I've lived in. So it's a different ball game for me. But I think one of the benefits of me moving to Canada is that I already have about 10 years work experience before coming to Canada. So coming to Canada, I am able to use all the experiences that I've had. Like I said, I used to be a consultant. I used to work in sales and business development. Coming to Canada, there were a lot of opportunities I was able to tap into. I did a little bit of sales when I got to Canada and a little bit of consulting before deciding to move into venture capital.
Was it difficult? Difficult. Yeah, to go this path and
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
yeah.
oh yeah. It was.
Which steps?
So I know it was difficult. So actually, so the life journey I just summarized was of course difficult because leaving your home country to go abroad, either to work permanently or on a short time basis, it is challenging. Then also leaving your home country to immigrate to a new country is absolutely challenging. And of course, one of the challenges is that all your friends, your childhood, everything you know is back home in a different country. Now you are having to build new relationships, new community, new lifestyle here. And again, I would have wished for my parents to be in the same country where I am, but that's another challenge. My family is in Nigeria and all that, so it is difficult. And also, you know, the cultural differences as well. So the way you do business in Nigeria or any other place I've worked in is different from how you do business in say Germany or Canada, for example. So you need to unlearn what you used to know and relearn what you are going to be using now, or not necessarily unlearn, but try to adopt what you've learned to the new society where you are. So yeah, it is challenging.
So what pushed you forward? So what was the, I don't know,
Your
motivation?
motivation. Yeah.
Motivation. Oh well,
Or where you get the motivation from? So for other young people that want something, that really also want to travel a lot, get around and have incredible, cool things.
so yeah. So for me, I guess I get my motivation from always wanting to succeed. Like I want to be a success personally, and I always drive myself to be good and better at whatever it is that I'm doing. And well, I guess that's why I have 3 master's degree. So that's part of me pushing myself. Yeah, I have a master's in engineering.
Crazy.
I have a master's in technology management. And right now I'm rounding up my master's, well, my MBA, which is master's in business admin. So I have always been the kind of person that pushes himself to be better, to do more, to want to succeed. And I think it's kind of the same with a lot of Nigerians where we're from. Again, like I said, we're a country of over 200 million people. So there's a lot of competition there. You need to be good to be able to get some of the opportunities there. So a lot of people, a lot of us from there, we are typically motivated. We want to succeed. And of course, when I came to Canada, what I told myself, look, I left Nigeria to come to Canada. I didn't come to Canada to play or to have fun. I came here to succeed. I came here to build a life for myself and my family. So those are some of the things that motivates me.
Thank you so much, Mikael. For me, this was very, very interesting and nice interaction with you. So, yeah.
Thank you also for the things that you had. So, like, when you would give some young people one last advice to help them and maybe to succeed in entrepreneurship and business,
And
do you
building
have
their
something
own
in
journey.
mind? Yeah.
Wow, that's a big that's a big question. So I think for me, I think the advice I can give young people is that they should keep being curious and inquisitive. And what I mean by that is that with uh, young people like to experiment with things. They like to try things. If there is a new gadget or new equipment out there, young people want to try and play with it, see how it works and all that. So I think my advice for young people would be to keep being curious about things, keep being
Yes.
keep being curious about whatever it is you want to do or whatever it is that you see out there, because at the end of the day, this will help you to be able to develop better. And the world is changing right now. We are seeing chat gpt disrupting everything, remote work and all that. So as a young person, if you are always curious and looking forward to doing something great and something good, I think that will be my advice for you.
Yeah. So, for you as a guest, we have one last special thing. So every guest before you leaving a question for the next guest. So you have one question, and yeah,
Oh wow.
right now it is.
Okay, so one question for the next guest.
So your
No,
question.
you become one. Yeah.
Yeah, your question is how old you want to be and how long you will work.
Whoa. How old do I want to be? And
Yeah,
how long do I want to walk?
yeah.
Wow. That's a that's a crazy question, because just yesterday I was watching an Instagram video of a 300-year-old man. I don't know if it's true that he's 300, but his skin was more of bones, and you could see the bones. He could not even sit down. And I don't know if I don't think I want to be that old. So no, for me, I don't think I have an age that I want to get to. I am a little bit of a religious person, so I feel whenever the right age is for God. But I think for me, I think I would like to get old and get to an age where I know that when I leave, people that I've left behind and people that I've impacted will say good things about me. And the man upstairs, God, will be pleased with me at that particular age when I'm leaving. So I will leave it at that. But in terms of when do I want to stop walking, I think I would like to stop walking, maybe, I don't know, in my 60s. And when I mean walking for cash. I would like to stop walking sometimes in my 60s, but it will not be to stop walking and just start sleeping or traveling around. By then, what I want to be doing is I want to be a full-time entrepreneur that is actually maybe teaching in a university or colleges. So I might not be getting paid salaries. I might just be, like a consultant that is helping the young people in school to help them with their entrepreneurial journey. But of course, by 60, I hope that I don't need a salary by then. Hopefully, but who knows? So for me to stop working fully, I think I'll say maybe 60 years old, I want to stop, but then I will continue being a consultant and being an entrepreneur in the society.
Thank you. So it was a pleasure for us.
Of course it was. Thank you so much.
No, thank you guys. It was amazing being on Reach and Rave podcast, right?